Welcome back, my dear students. Today we are going to take a simple yet fascinating journey through the Kingdom Animalia, from the tiny single-celled Protozoa to the highly evolved Mammalia. Animal classification helps us understand how diverse life forms are grouped based on their structure, function, and evolutionary relationship. By learning this step by step, you will see how life progresses from the simplest organisms to the most complex, so making zoology easier and more exciting to explore. Let's dive in and uncover the story of animal diversity. So today we will study Kingdom Animalia Classification made simple, from Protozoa to Mammalia, for zoology beginner students. Why is Aristotle called the father of zoology and the father of biology? Imagine living 2300 years ago in ancient Greece, no microscopes, no genetics, no internet, yet one man, Aristotle, became the first true animal detective. Father of zoology, he is called as. Aristotle studied, observed, and classified over 500 species of animals, from jellyfish to elephants. He described their habitat, reproduction, and anatomy, and even dissected them to understand how their bodies worked. He introduced one of the earliest classification systems, Enema, that is animals with blood, and Anima, that is animals without blood. His book, Historia Animalium, or History of Animals, is like the world's first zoology textbook. So that's why he is called as father of zoology. Now you say, why Aristotle is called as father of biology? Aristotle didn't stop with animals. He also studied plants, life processes, and the relationship between living beings and their environment. He introduced the idea that life should be studied systematically, observing, recording, and reasoning. Because he laid the foundations of studying all living organisms, he honored as the father of biology. Aristotle's approach was like a modern day biologist. He believed to understand life, watch it, note it, and ask why. Journey through Kingdom Animalia. Let's imagine Kingdom Animalia as a giant biological family tree, and we are climbing its branch by branch. Step 1, the first big split, cell numbers. On the basis of how many cells make up the body, animals can be divided into protozoa, which are the one cell wonders, that is basically they are unicellular, and the metazoa, they are multicellular marvels. Protozoa are unicellular, but they perform all life processes in that single cell. And in the under the protozoa, there are seven phyla, seven groups of organisms, like one Sarcomastigophora, two Labyrinthodontia, three Epicomplexa, four Acetospora, five Microspora, six Mixozoa, and seven Celiophora. This is the diagram of amoeba, which belongs to phyla Sarcomastigophora, and this is a typical example of the group Protozoa. Now we should study about metazoa, the multicellular marvels made up of many cells with specialization and teamwork. Inside metazoans, there are two types, primitive versus advanced. The primitive metazoans were the parazoa, which are the simple ones. They are multicellular, but there is no true tissues. Example, phylum Porifera or sponges. This is the example of sponge. This is the diagram of sponge, and they belong to the group Parazoa. They are multicellular, but they have no tissue grade organization. And Enterozoa is have the tissue grade organization. They are organized ones, have tissues, organs, and organ systems. This is the diagram of Hydra, which belong to Enterozoa. This is the diagram of Barophroskeli. This is also belong to the group Enterozoa. The Hydra is under the Nigeria, and this is Baro is under the Ctenophora. Germ layer secrets. Within enterozoa, animals can be classified by how many germ layers they have during development. Triploblastics, two layers, ectoderm and endoderm. They have the phyla Nidaria and Ctenophora, and triploblastic they have three layers, ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. This is the images of flatworm. Platyhelminthes, and this is the example of roundworm or Aschelminthes or Nematohelminthes. The coelom question: triploblastic animals differ in body cavity or coelom. Acoelomate, they have no coelom. Phylum Platyhelminthes or flatworms. Pseudocoelomata, they have fake coelom, not lined by mesoderm. The phyla are Aschelminthes or Nemathelminthes, or generally called as roundworms. But coelomate, which are the true coelom, there are 7 phyla: Annelida, Arthropoda. This is Annelida. This is Arthropoda. Onychophora. This is Mollusca. This is Echinodermata. This is Hemichordata, and this is Chordata. There are 7 groups of animals under the coelomata, or under the animals having true coelom. Now we should zoom into Chordata. Phylum Chordata have 3 subphyla. Cephalochordata, this is Cephalochordata. This is Urochordata or Ascidia. This is Cephalochordata. The name of the animal is Branchiostomata or Archimetron, the group name. And this is Ascidia, the example of Urochordata. And this is the example diagram of a fish, which is the example of Vertebrata. The jaw stories: inside Vertebrata, Anatha and Gnathostomata, there are 2 groups of animals. Anatha are their jawless vertebrates, example Cyclostomata like lamprey or hagfishes. But Gnathostomes are the jawed vertebrates. They have 5 classes like pisces or fishes, amphibia like frogs and salamanders, reptilia lizards and snakes, aves birds, mammalia humans or other mammals. This is the of classification scheme, and animals can be divided into 2 groups: protozoa, which are unicellular, and metazoa, they are multicellular. We can divide metazoa into 2 groups: parazoa and enterozoa. Parazoa and enterozoa both are multicellular, but parazoa have no tissue grade organization. There is a phyla porifera under the group parazoa, and enterozoa we can further divide in enterozoa into 2 groups: diploblastic and triploblastic. Diploblastic means which have 2 germ layers like ectoderm and endoderm, and triploblastic means we have 3 embryonic germ layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, and endoderm. Diploblastics, there are 2 phyla, Nigeria and Ctenophora, and under the triploblast, there are 3 phyla, Acoelomate, Pseudocoelomate, and Coelomate. Acoelomate phyla are the Platyhelminthes, Pseudocoelomate phyla are the Nemathelminthes, and there are 7 phyla under the Coelomata like Annelida, Arthropoda, Onychophora, Mollusca, Echinodermata, Hemichordata, and Chordata. We further categorize Chordata into 3 subphyla: Cephalochordata, Urochordata, and Vertebrata. And the Vertebrata can be again divided into 2 groups on the presence or absence of jaws. First group is the Anatha, which includes Cyclostomata. Anatha means A means absence and Gnatho means jaw, so they have no jaw-like structure. But Gnathostomata, there is another group of Vertebrata. Gnatho means jaw and stomata means mouth. So where there is jaw is present in their mouth, within their mouth. So the Gnathostomata can be grouped into another 6 categories: chondrichthyes, osteichthyes. Chondrichthyes means cartilaginous fish, osteichthyes means bony fish. Then amphibia, reptilia, aves, and mammalia. So think of the classification journey as 7 levels: cells, multicellularity, tissues, germ layers, coelom, chordata split, jaw versus no jaws. So in today's class, we learned that Kingdom Animalia includes organisms from simple protozoans to complex mammals, showing progressive evolution in structure and function. Understanding classification help us see how relationship and complexity in life. The good news that with a clear step-by-step approach, even a vast topic like this become easy to learn. Remember, focus on key features and stay curious and keep learning. See you in the next class. Thank you.